Discover College Soccer podcast is sponsored by VIO. VIO is the #1 AI camera solution helping players capture college recruitment videos. Check out their new starter and family options by clicking on the link in the description or visit Discover College Soccer to learn more. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Gaskin from Marian University in Wisconsin. Welcome, Coach.
Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Marian University in Indiana, which I actually coached against when I was coaching in Indiana many moons ago. So I have not had the pleasure of going up to your area of Wisconsin, but it's definitely definitely got to be better weather than down here in Florida right now this time of year.
Uh, yes, but actually it's been pretty hot and muggy these last couple of days. So it's I think somewhat, I don't want to say record temperatures, but it's been
Uh,
pretty warm, like low 90s and
oh
pretty muggy.
wow.
So
Okay, well
yeah.
then maybe we are in the same boat. It's nothing like England complaining about 78-degree highs, right? So
Right. Yeah.
well, so you guys are a D3 program. Um, we just hit the June 15th, magical date for a lot of recruits to be able to talk to those Division 1, Division 2 schools. Division 3, you have the benefit you can talk to them whenever, but give me an idea of kind of your normal recruiting timeline. I'm guessing, you know, may, maybe you're even chasing one last 24 right now, but what does that look like in terms of your standard operating procedures for the year?
Yeah. Um, so as you mentioned, that date doesn't really affect us a ton. As far as us as a staff, um, we kind of focus more like junior year, maybe sophomores if they really stand out or if they reach out to us and we're going to an event and they say, "Hey, can you come watch me play?" We'll make sure and see them play and keep in touch. But I would say large focus junior year, senior year, um, without having the full prestige of some D3 schools where, you know, players will commit super, super early. We kind of fit in a different time frame. So uh, I would say in general, that's kind of how we operate when we start. So junior year, middle to junior year, and then um, really summer of senior year, we kind of ramp up pretty heavily for that year.
Okay. Well, you mentioned events. Do you have like a list of places you like to go that are your must-see places to find players?
Yeah. So through just experience and then kind of making connections and seeing how things work, I like to go west a lot. Um, so this coming next month, I will be in California. So I'll go Northern California, just south of Sacramento, and then I'll go Southern California, surf Silver Lakes. I'll do those, and then during Thanksgiving, surf in Silver Lakes again with November Nights, which is a little bit of a smaller event, but still in the same area. Um, and then, of course, some regional stuff. So down to St. Louis, Chicago, um, here in Wisconsin, a couple local things, and in the spring, getting out and seeing high school games as much as we can.
Okay. Well, one of the things that seems to be growing a lot is ID camps. So is that something you guys put on yourselves? Your staff work other schools' ID camps? Are they important in your recruiting at all?
Um, to be to be blunt, they haven't really been since I've been here. I did do one winter ID camp when I first started. Um, more a local thing, and then our assistant coach, she will be doing a few camps this summer at other places. We might put one on early August. It's tough with how we recruit and a lot of our recruits being farther away. Do we want to bring them then, or do we want to wait for when we have games and they can get kind of a full experience? So it's kind of managing that balance between the two.
Okay. Well, whether it's at an ID camp or tournament or high school game or whatever the case may be, what is it that you're looking for in a player, whether that's on the field stuff or off the field stuff?
Sure. For off the field stuff and just character wise, one of our big things that we talk about our first preseason meeting is just be a good person, and that has multiple layers to it. So, being a supportive teammate, having a good attitude. You're allowed to have moments of frustration with playing time and other things, but at the end of the day, understanding that it's a collective effort and not an individual effort. So that's a big piece. And then on the field, um, really for me and how we like to play it, technical ability is huge. IQ is another thing, and I think if there's a player that's not the fastest or not the biggest, but their IQ um, is high and kind of unique, then that's something that I definitely kind of lean towards and appreciate. Um, so I would say those things, and then also maybe a little bit of versatility. If you can play two, three different positions, obviously that heightens your opportunities and your chances to get on the field.
Okay. Well, one of the things that has also grown and recently is the transfer portal. Um,
Mhm.
has that kind of weaved its way into your recruiting at all? And I know international players aren't so much in many scopes for D3, but do international players do you do any international recruiting at all?
I have in the past. It's been a little bit of a struggle here, but I still try. So it's something that I think having international players, of course, you add to the experience within the team of just the cultural exchange and different style of play and learning those things. So it's something I try to do. As far as the portal goes, yeah, I will check the portal and do research on players before reaching out and just see what their previous season looked like and if they have any highlights, huddle or NCSA profiles still up or anything like that. Haven't really had any success yet, but got to keep trying. So
Yeah, hell no, makes sense. Well, one of the things that always comes up, especially from parents like me, is when you're evaluating schools, okay, what's this going to cost me? So now I'm not holding you to hard numbers here because I know things are always fluctuating. But just give me a rough idea of what an average student athlete walking into your program, what are they looking at in terms of different uh, aid packages, whether that's academic or other aid that the school provides, and with tuition, room and board, that kind of thing. What's kind of a maybe a standard thing that people might be looking at?
sure. Um, I actually think we do a pretty good job of putting competitive packages together, but if a prospective student athlete is at a 3.5 GPA or higher, they're getting our highest academic, which is 16,000. Um, and then if they live outside of the state of Wisconsin, they automatically get another 2,000. So kind of also that ties into our push to look other places. Um, if they visit campus, virtual or in person, that's another 1,000. And then if they apply before December, really January 1st of their senior year, they get an early scholarship award, which is another 1,000. So it's about 20,000 off the top straight away, and that's before FAFSA kicks in. So um, pretty decent package. And then once FAFSA kicks in, and that's a individual thing, and that determines how much people get. But a
Sure.
pretty good starting base, and there's some other smaller ones and in there that they can also let's say apply for. But if they, let's say, where we recruit in California, if one of our players knows a player from high school or a club team and they decide to come, they can list them as a reference and then they get a smaller scholarship for that as well. And both players do.
Wow, that's pretty neat. I haven't heard that one before. Some creative financing. I like it. But definitely
Yeah,
some good scholarship opportunities. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the school. Um, what are some things that you really enjoy about the school? Some things that are maybe stick out that are awesome that maybe we wouldn't even know by going through the website.
sure. I think campus itself, especially this time of year and in preseason and early season, it's just so green. It's very close to a lake, and so Lake Winnebago. If you wanted to walk or jog over there, it's you know a longer walk, but a short 5-minute car ride, and you're at the lake. Um, so there's some really nice opportunities there, and then a little bit wider base outside of campus. We've got Green Bay, Milwaukee, and Madison all within, about an hour's drive. Um, so, we've had girls in preseason that they say, "Hey, coach, what time does training look like on these days?" And they go to, Pitbull concert one night, or they do different things. So, off-campus opportunities there, and something that I personally enjoy is the setup. The field is awesome. There's no football lines on it. There's other lines, just soccer, lacrosse, field hockey. But I think just the environment, it's a place where people kind of look after one another. And since being here, there's been a lot of help from people just in different areas. So it's been good.
Okay. Well, one of the things that uh, kids have to think about just as much as the soccer is the academic component, right? And it is a student athlete experience. So what are some of the support systems that the school offers to help ensure that the students are successful both in the classroom as well as on the field?
Yeah. I actually asked our team this in spring, and maybe 50% raise their hand, if not more. We have writing tutors that they've gone to for papers and different things. Professors basically will set meetings with you, open office hours to get extra studying in, get extra help. There are student-led study sessions. Um, and I think a big thing within the team is a lot of crossover similarities in courses. So they study together a lot. This past spring, we had a team study hall, and it was mandatory for a certain group, but we found that maybe not necessarily every night, but a good chunk of times when we held it, other players on the team would come and also utilize that time and study together. Um, so there's that piece as well. So the tutors are helpful, the team study halls, and then just relying on each other as well. I also get notes from professors if a student is struggling in a class. So I'll get that in my mailbox, and I can reach out um, to whoever it is and just check in and say, "Hey, Professor Smith said, you didn't pass your first test. Are you going to go see a tutor?" And just kind of different touch points throughout.
Okay. Well, coach, let's fast forward. Let's put you in October in the heart of the conference season. Walk me through what's a typical schedule going to be like for your players in terms of each day, uh, when are classes, practice, meals, what's your game cadence? What's a normal week going to look like for a player?
Sure. Uh, October, it's full conference schedule. So we go Wednesday, Saturday. Um, so if we start Monday and work through the week, Monday you may have three classes, 9, 10, and 1, 50 minutes a class. You get lunch in between, you get lunch after. If we have training at 5, you've got from 1:50, 2 o'clock until 4:30, 4:45. We need to be at the field to get homework done, take a nap, hydrate, eat, whatever you need to do before training. Um, a 2-hour training block, and then you're back after training to, shower, relax, do any more homework you need to do. Very similar schedule for Tuesday, just classes run a little bit longer. So that Tuesday, Thursday schedule, hour 15. Maybe you've got some labs on those days as well. If you're a science major. So then we'll play on Wednesday. If we're home, very similar schedule, knock your classes out, 7 p.m. Game time starts, and then we're on the field by 6 o'clock and getting rolling. They meet as a team before we meet on the field, and they walk over together. So they have time just to do their pregame routine and get themselves ready. So that's kind of what that looks like. And then we're off on Sundays once we hit that part of the season.
Okay. Well, let's talk more about the team. Yeah, well, is there a roster size you find is ideal that you're trying to hit each season?
Um, yeah, right now this fall we'll have 32. Um, it's a good number. Last year we had a little more, and that was tricky. But yeah, around 32 to maybe 35. Potentially a little less, but it helps with injury. It helps with rotation. As much as we hope that doesn't happen, those things do happen. So um, and then of course being able to play 11s in training is essential. Makes a big difference, and we're able to challenge ourselves within training and also get a feel for different positioning and things like that. So we use preseason and then our non-conference games early on to, move people around and kind of get a good feel for chemistry and different things.
Okay. Well, besides a roster of players, you got a staff roster. So talk to me about the rest of your staff. What roles does everybody play? About some of the other staff in the athletic department that help out with the team.
Sure. Uh, our assistant coach, Coach Bob Gomez, she is from New Mexico. She joined us last spring. So it's been great having her. And I had the first season by myself with a big group. So it's great having another person to, separate and expand and bounce ideas off of. And then we have two former players that still live in the area that come and volunteer and help out. And we'll have a third who's going to do the same. So, players that still want to be around the program and want to be around the sport and have an interest potentially in coaching that help out as well. Of course, our athletic trainers, they help. And let's see, I think that's about it as far as everybody who helps out. We might have um, some other coaches like in the fall where we do a fall team banquet, so all the fall teams get together and do like a trivia night, that kind of thing.
Okay. Sounds fun. Well,
Yeah,
what about what about you as the man in charge? How would you describe kind of your style of coaching and the style of play you're looking to play there?
sure. I'm pretty laid back, pretty low key, and I try to find a good balance between having fun, but then being serious and switched on when we need to be. Um, Style of play, I like us to have the ball as much as we can, and kind of create a collective blueprint, and then allow players the freedom to kind of express themselves within that blueprint. Um, so really challenging the IQ of players and how they read the game, what they see, and their decision making. Um, yeah, so that's us in a nutshell, and um, always trying to grow and learn new things to add and challenge the group.
Okay. Well, we just we're sitting here in June, so we just wrapped up the spring. What what was it? What would a typical off season look like for you guys? What are the players doing in that spring season?
Yeah. So um, Coach Bob, she put together a spring lift for the team. And so they go in small groups and they lift in their small groups throughout the spring. And it's a bit of a heavier lift than what we would do in season. Um, and then let's see, we started the end of February, 3 days a week we would go um, to stick within our allotted number of days. And we did a lot of playing. So we did a lot of small sided stuff, a lot of touches on the ball. Obviously, you mentioned the weather and, excuse me, being in Wisconsin. So we used a smaller turf space that we have on campus, and we play inside there. So we're not, trying to feel our toes while we're outside. So we do that inside, and the sessions were significantly better than being in snowy or cold rain. But when we are able to and it's warm enough, we get outside on the turf and focus on bigger concepts and prepare for our competition day. This year we hosted it, and we had three other schools that came, and we played games kind of in a just like a rapid fire style, and just you play short game after the next, and teams rotate, and get to see a lot and record those and go back and watch and share info and break them down.
Okay. Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. I got one last question for you, and that is, if you had to narrow it down to one piece of advice or one nugget of info that you think all potential student athletes should know as they go through this recruiting process, what would that be?
I would say um, it's kind of a two-part. I would say one, enjoy the process. Um, two, um, don't close any doors. Um, and then three, realize that there's not as much pressure on yourself as you think there is. And so when you make a decision, we all make decisions that at times are we might think are going to hurt someone's feelings or whatnot, but as college coaches, we all understand the process, and so understanding that it's okay to go with your gut feeling and what you want to do, and yeah, not feel that pressure.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Well, Coach, really appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck this coming fall season. And if you ever get down to any recruiting events down here in Florida, give me a shout, all right?
Sounds good. Appreciate it, Matt.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's Matt from Discover College Soccer. I hope you're enjoying the podcast, whether that's on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I also wanted to let you know about the Discover College Soccer Study Table. This is our brand new online portal that is complete with a 14-part online course giving you all of the ins and outs of the college soccer recruiting process. There's also a wealth of resources such as checklists, templates. There's the spreadsheets that have every soccer program in the country along with their coaches, their contact information, their social media information, some basic stats about the school, and more. Plus, there's an online community where you can ask your questions, share your wins, your losses, any questions that you may have around the college soccer recruiting process. It's all there at the Discover College Soccer study table that you can find at discovercollegesoccer.com/study table, and hopefully we will see you there.